Good morning, everyone. Got my cup of pumpkin spice tea. Beginning to look, it's got a couple of days of warm weather here, but it's beginning to look like fall. There are leaves on the ground. Not everything, of course, it's too early for that, but in another month they'll be all on the ground and we'll be able to see all kinds of things here. It's one of the things that we noticed when we moved to Georgia. We got here in the, I guess, late summer, and we couldn't see anything. We got on the main road that goes around Atlanta, the 285, the main freeway. It's a big freeway. We couldn't see anything because all the trees were full of leaves. We made that same trip in the wintertime sometime, and you could see everything. Lakes and houses and stuff back in the trees that you didn't know were there. The pine trees don't lose theirs, but pine trees have no leaves up till a certain point, so you can see. And I noticed too when I flew, because I used to fly when I was here, I'd fly over the area and I couldn't follow the roads, I couldn't find the house, I couldn't do anything because it's forest. Can't see the forest for the trees. So anyhow, beautiful area. I'm south, but I'm still in the forest. I am way south. I'm south of Franklin, Georgia, is currently where I'm at, 5 miles south of there on a lake. And I'm moving to Roanoke, Alabama next week. So, Lord willing, everything will finish up. It's all done, everything's done, the paperwork's done, everything's done. They just had a date to get in. You got to go to the lawyer's office and sit there and sign paperwork. And I can't turn the power on into my name until I have the final paperwork. So when I come out of the lawyer's office, I'm going to be heading over to the power company and the water company. And when I get home, I got to call the trash company. I got to see if my antenna works. If it does, I'll stick with Starlink, but if not, I'll have to put cable in. So next week I might have a couple of short videos just to kind of be placeholders. I'm going to be busy. And I got things I got to move. I got breakfast cooking over there right now. Got to cook a little while, so I'll get at least halfway through this. I've got to stay on my schedules because I have so much time. All right, we've been studying about last written letters, comments, things like that people make in the Bible. Not necessarily their last dying breath, although Paul's will be. This is the last thing that Paul wrote before he was killed. We'll get to that in a second. Christians should be excited for these times. We're getting to see Bible prophecy fulfilled. Are we going to see the rapture this week? I really can't honestly tell you. The people that are predicting it are making it on logical conclusions. But this is God, and he does it when he wants, what he wants. He doesn't have to follow rules. And this is not a Jewish event. The rapture is a Christian event, a church event. So it doesn't have to follow Jewish festivals and timelines. Afterwards, when it switches, we stopped on, I'm kind of getting off topic again. We switched on the 69th week when Jesus was here, and boom, he went away, Pentecost, church born, and then no more focusing on the Jews. They're not cut off. They're just told to go stand in the corner. You were bad guys. You killed your Messiah. So go over there and wait. I'll get back to you. And that's exactly what's happening. We're in that transition phase. As soon as the 70th week starts, it's back focusing on the Jews again. But it's going to be very dangerous. The Antichrist is going to come in and protect the Jews initially. He's going to get a 7-year peace plan, which isn't going to be worth anything, and he's only going to get halfway through. before he exposes himself. You give a bad person enough rope and they will hang themselves. And the Antichrist will do just that. He will help them build the temple because he will bring peace between the Muslims and the Jews. They are, in fact, related. Cousins, if you will. So we're watching prophecy. Now, if you're not a Christian, you can stay until the end, and I'll tell you what you can do to join us. It's simple and easy. God doesn't send anybody to hell. In fact, he doesn't want anybody going there. Hell was not made for mankind. It was made for the devil and his followers, his third of the angels that he took. So we're not supposed to go there. You're not supposed to go there. People that are not Christian are not supposed to go there. But God realized that our sinful nature, along with the help of Satan, is so bad that we can't comply with God's requirements. Sin-free people, we can't be. Even Christians can't be. Kitty's in the bedroom. He's trying to get out. I'm going to have to go tell him to knock it off. I'll toss him a treat, keep him busy. Not like a dog I can toss a bone to, but I'll put a couple of treats down. He'll be happy. Okay, so if you like this video, click like. It helps YouTube know how to place it. And I get scoring from them, so hang on, let me go deal with Kitty. Kitty is comfortable. Should leave me alone now for the rest of this video. I'm hoping when I get moved that I can have a little bit more involvement with him, but this is it's a 30-foot trailer, but it's still nowhere near the size of a house. And I can lock the bedroom door. I'm going to probably film. I don't know if I'm going to film in the bedroom or not. I'm debating whether I'm going to film in the bedroom. I probably will, but I don't know yet. Because I film using my laptop, and I can pick it up and move it if I need to. All right. So, I told you to like the video. You can also subscribe. If you do subscribe, you can click on the bell icon and it will notify you when I send up a new video or some other kind of post. If you do want to support this channel, the best way is to click the thanks button. That goes to YouTube, and then I get paid once a month from them. If I don't make $100, they don't pay me until the next month. I have to get $100 before they have to pay me. But that's the most. I think the most I've ever made on YouTube is $150 a month. So I'm not going to be Joel Osteen by any means. I don't want to be. But I need enough to keep the ministry going. Okay, there's other ways you can help. There's a Patreon account. Members there agree to spend $5, $10 a month, whatever, and it automatically will be deducted from your checking account. It's one of those things, you set it and forget it. And that's a big help. I've also got PayPal. Okay, that's enough. I don't like talking about money because I don't want to get any association with get-rich mentality that's out there. Okay, so we're going to talk about Paul's last letter. Paul's last letter was written about 67 AD. So that's roughly 30 years of his ministry, because Jesus ended his. And after he died, he came to Paul on the road to Damascus and told him, your work is appreciated, but you're backwards. You're going after the wrong people. God knew his heart, and his heart was good for God. He was trying to help God. He just didn't have the right information. So Jesus educated him, and he changed his ways. But Paul was executed by beheading. Unlike Peter and a couple others, he wasn't crucified. He was a Roman citizen, and the Roman law said that Roman citizens can never be crucified because it was felt too demeaning. Death is death, but crucifixion is very demeaning. You're on display. So when he said, I need to go to Rome, it carried the message to Rome, which it needed to be, following what Jesus wanted him to do. But he died there. All the apostles, or disciples, died except for John. John was kept alive in prison in Patmos so that he could write the book of Revelation. But Paul was a Roman citizen, so he didn't have to go through that. Peter didn't want to be crucified. He said, I don't want to die the way my Lord did. So he insisted he be crucified upside down. The devotion of these guys, because they saw the miracles. They still struggled. We're human. And after a while, you forget things. It's 3.5 years on the road with them, and they'd get it, but then they wouldn't get it. And every time Jesus spoke in a parable, he had to explain it to the apostles and disciples because they didn't understand it. So anyhow, Paul's writing a few words of encouragement to Timothy, who had traveled with him. He knew he was going to be gone from the scene, so we give him parting words. Tell him to stand firm against false teachings, etc. So we're going to read a little bit. I'm going to read from 2 Timothy 3:1. Know this also, that in the last days grievous times will be at hand. Now, Jesus called the times that he was in there the last days. The disciples and everybody referred to the time after Jesus as the last days. They didn't know there was going to be a 2,000-year gap. They expected they go directly from the 69th day or week to the 70th. But God inserted the church age. So, the last days going... I got a squirrel up on the roof. The last days were then, and it's going to be grievous times. So when the 70th week starts, it's going to be grievous times. Between the seals and the trumpets, half the world will die. It's about 4 billion people. I don't know if it's the original, we got 8.2 billion. There's roughly 2 billion Christians. Assuming everyone is an honest Christian and gets picked up in the rapture, that's 6. So I don't know if it's 3 billion going to die or half of the original amount of 8 billion. Doesn't say. 3:2. For men will be self-lovers, lovers of themselves, money lovers, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, unyielding, false accusers, without self-control, savage, despisers of good, traitors, reckless, puffed up, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power of it, even turning away from these. For of these are those who creep into houses and lead captive silly women loaded with sins, led away with different kinds of lusts, ever learning with never able to come to a full knowledge of the truth. But as Jans and Jambres withstood Moses, so these will also resist the truth. Men of corrupt mind, reprobate concerning the faith. But they shall proceed no further, for their foolishness shall be plain to all, as theirs also became. And Scripture is breathed out by God. So, we're seeing what's going to come. There's plenty more in here. You could continue on. And it's talking about the good parts of Timothy and his ministry. I might read some of that for tomorrow's video and kind of split it up. I think I'm going to do that because I'm going to make the next few videos a little bit shorter because I got to get through till I move. And this place is an absolute wreck. I got boxes that are packed, boxes that are not packed yet. cabinets that are open so I can see inside. Kitty, of course, enjoys that. I've still got a lot of stuff to pack. And when I get there, I'm going to have to rent a truck to come get the rest of my stuff. I've got stuff here in the park that I got to get out of here. I've got a storage unit that I got to empty. When I empty it, that'll save me $60 a month. So I'm looking forward to getting into four walls again. I've been camping for 5 years. I'll find out whether that's going to hurt me when I go to turn my power on. I haven't had power in my name for 5 years because I haven't needed it. Power has been provided every place I've camped. Power and water and trash. So I got to turn all that on. So pray for me this week that, one, I can stay calm as I'm waiting. When you know you've got a date coming up and it's an exciting date and you want to do it, like a lot of people are excited for the rapture this week. Is it going to happen? I frankly doubt it on the dates that they're talking about. That's a Jewish festival. We're in a Christian age. I don't think it's going to happen on the Feast of Trumpets. However, it could happen the day or morning of. Because remember, the Jewish calendar starts in the evening of the 23rd going to the evening of the 24th. The Feast of Trumpets. And just because it's a Feast of Trumpets doesn't mean it's the trumpets that announce Jesus' arrival. Trumpets always announce the arrival of dignitaries. Da-da-da-da, here he is. And I'm sure there'll be some trumpets for the Antichrist at some point. Because he thinks he's entitled to it. So, be good to one another. That's our primary job after loving God. Love God with all your mind, soul, and spirit, and love your neighbor as yourself, neighbor being just everybody around you. And if you do those two, Jesus said, if you do those two things, you will satisfy all the law. And there was quite a bit of law. In fact, there was so much law that they couldn't keep track of it. They had to use shorthand crib notes to be able to keep track of it. That's the Talmud and the Mishnah and a couple others. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and have breakfast. I'll let Kitty out. I'll try to include him once or twice here, but he's pesty. He gets up here and starts messing with me because I'm not paying attention to him. You know how cats are if you've got one. But he's doing fine. I just brought his cat carrier in. It's on top of the boxes by the front door. I'll lock him up when I take him there in the car ride. It's about a 30-minute car ride from here. I'm 15 minutes from the Alabama border and then 15 minutes to the house. And I'm going to have to make that a few times. I need a truck because I've got a bed here that I can't carry in my car. Unless I want to be like the Beverly Hillbillies and strap it to the top. I don't really want to do that. So, pray for me this week. I'll pray for all of you. And whether there's a rapture or not, we're still blessed. We still have eternal life as Christians. We've got a happy future to look forward to. The rest of the world, the bad things that are going to happen are a combination of a wake-up call and punishment for those that totally reject God. God doesn't punish. We walk through a minefield. He knows where the mines are. If you tell God to go to hell or to get away, people do that. That's bad. But if people do that, God's not going to tell them where the mines are. You're on your own. He doesn't punish people. But if you don't want to hear from him, he won't go against your free will. Think about it. That's love. That's not hate. Till we meet in the clouds, whenever. God bless.